Hi, everyone, and welcome to Social Chats. This is episode number 12, and I'm really excited today because I have a good friend, Diane Hanna Photography, that's going to be joining us in the studio. So I'll introduce Diane in just a few minutes, and right now I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us live or for watching the replay. And don't forget that during the show, you're welcome to ask any questions that you might have directly to our guest who's in the studio, and just put those questions in the comment section below. So what is Social Chats all about? Well, it's a show that's dedicated to the small business person that's learning how to navigate through the ever-changing world of social media. So what Catherine and I endeavor to do is to hold your hand and help guide you through like a bridge on technology and helping you to market your business online. And how do we do that? We go out and we look for entrepreneurs that are very successful, and then we invite them to be on Social Chats where they can share with you their journey and their success stories. And hopefully this way, it helps you build on your own business. Now, you might be wondering how you can do your own live Facebook TV show. And if you have questions on that, or perhaps you'd like to be a guest on Social Chats, just send Catherine and I a private message and we'll get back to you. So don't forget, this is a live show and you're welcome to ask your questions directly in the comment section below. And even if you're watching the replay, we do come back and we do answer your questions. In fact, we generally get most of our viewers after the show is over. It is my pleasure to introduce to you today, Diane Hanna. I have had the pleasure of knowing Diane now for a couple of years and actually working with Diane. And she even came with us to the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver and did a photo shoot there for us. And next week, Catherine and I are going to be shooting live with Diane, only we're going to be on the other end of the camera here in Whistler. So we're quite excited about that. So a little bit about Diane for you to learn. For over 20 years, Diane owned her own clothing factory together with her phenomenal husband, Bill. And while running the garment industry, Diane decided to start studying makeup artistry with Blanche McDonald, where she then went on to become a teacher. A couple of years ago, Diane decided with her husband to move to Whistler. And this is when Diane fell in love with photography. So for the last year or so, Diane has been studying all around the globe, bringing a wealth of knowledge to her new work and of course to her clients. So imagine being a fashionista, having the talent to be a makeup artist, and then falling in love with your passion of photography. I remember that my mentor, Peter Legge, said to me, when your God-given talents intersect with your passion, you will be unstoppable. It is my pleasure to introduce Diane into the studio today. Hello, Diane.
Well, hello, Heather, and everybody listening. I want to really thank you for having me. I've never done this before, so I'm quite a bit out of my comfort zone, but I guess that's what we're all supposed to do, is get out of our comfort zone. They say once a day. I think that's a little bit much, but once in a while, it's good.
Oh, that's wonderful. Diane, can you share with everyone, how you went from having a clothing factory into photography?
Well, the economy ended up going that we were happily going along in our clothing business, but then all the duties and trades came off, all the clothing, and then we had to compete with China. And it's very hard for us to compete with their wages and our wages. So we decided to close the factory, retire, and go up to Whistler. And being retired, we both needed something to entertain us other than all the activities that are up here that we do love. So we both took up photography. And yeah, we've been enjoying it. I do a bit more fashion than Bill, and have really enjoyed it. And thought I'd get into headshots because everybody needs a headshot. And it's been so much fun dealing with people and getting great expressions and all that sort of thing.
I could see in your studio behind you, you have some portraits on the wall. And what we're going to do during the show is, Catherine is with us too, only she's not going to be on the camera. She's going to be adding portraits that you've sent to her into the comment section so people can see the work that you do. But I'm wondering, why is it so important today that you have a professional photograph of yourself done? And once you've done that, I mean, what can you use that photograph for, Diane?
Well, it used to be that the only time you would need a headshot would be for identification reasons, for your passport or driver's license or something like that. But the internet has kind of pushed everybody in the direction that you really do need a headshot, even if you only have a Facebook page or whatever. And the selfies, and when you cut yourself out of a wedding photograph, it's just not cutting it anymore. It just doesn't look professional enough. And especially if you have a business and you have a lot of distractions in the background, it doesn't really make you look professional. It doesn't look like you're taking yourself or your business seriously. So to spend a little bit of money, and it's probably the easiest thing in the whole internet social media realm to do. You get a good headshot, and it's good for a couple years. So, and first impression, a lot of times it's the first time someone will ever see you. And so to give a really great first impression that you're professional, you take yourself seriously, it just says something good about you.
Most certainly. When I was the managing broker for a couple of real estate companies, I used to tell the realtors, and quite funny, it's not a joke, but people would say, your picture is 20 years old. And their pictures would be 10, 20 years old, and they still thought it was okay to use. And I always had the analogy, how you do anything is how you do everything. So I agree with you that you really need to spend a little bit of money and have a professional photograph done.
I think people don't get it done because it's such an uncomfortable situation, kind of like going to the dentist or the doctor. No one has ever come in and said, you know, I just love having my headshots taken. I love having photographs taken. We all totally dread it. And so usually people come in, I take a couple photos, maybe about 10, and I tether my camera to my laptop computer, and I get them to come on over and show them. The lighting I use is incredibly flattering, and often it's quite funny, the first expression they have, it's like, wow, I look really good. And it really breaks the ice, and everybody kind of relaxes. And we get some really great shots. And yeah, it's just so much fun to work with people. And by the time someone leaves, we've already decided on which headshot. And if they haven't come up with one they like, we just keep on shooting.
What do you tell the people that are coming for their headshots, how to prepare for themselves? Like, what should they be doing before they get to your studio?
Well, I think some of the most important things is for women, it is a good idea to have your makeup professionally done. You don't want to overdo it. I'm not saying go and have tons of makeup piled on. You just want to look professional, clean, tidy, and maybe go to a hair salon and have your hair done. You're going to have this photo for, 2, 3, 4 years. So you really want to be proud to, if someone needs it, give your business card and they'll say, wow, you look really great. And you want it to look like you. So those are some of the things. There's also Peter Hurley. He's probably the best headshot photographer in the world right now. He's got a couple YouTube videos, and some of them are hold your sub. If you end up standing there, I don't know if you can see me, and you're in your picture like this, it just makes you look wider. So he has it, you hold your sub, your arms are thinner. So that's one of them. There's another one on the squinch. Usually when we get in front of a camera, we have a very frightened look. he works on the eye control and that sort of thing, and another one is the jaw. So go to YouTube. I think, Heather, you were going to put the links up for these.
Yes, we are, and Catherine is probably about to do that right now. When you mentioned the squinch, I remember when we were doing our photo session together, which was an amazing time. You are so wonderful to work with, and quite made me feel very comfortable and relaxed. But you were telling me about this squinch, and as awkward as it feels when you do it, and then you showed us the photograph right afterwards because you have your computer set up there. It's so cool. You look and you go, oh, wow, that squinch didn't feel like it was going to make that picture look so good. So
well, having the camera tethered to the computer is just such a great teaching tool, because often people feel like, I look so silly, like this is ridiculous. And then they come over and look at it and go, oh man, that is cool. No, that does work. And so we can kind of work further. The other thing with the photography, it's more of a collaboration, because we'll both look at the photo and it's like, well, you know, are you liking what you see? And so we'll look at it and decide where to go next, and maybe change an outfit or a different background. But it's really fun to work with someone to capture some great photos.
Definitely, definitely. My screen just froze there for a second. Do you only shoot photos inside, or like do you go on location? I know that we're going on location next week, but what do you do when people want to not actually be in a studio shooting photography?
I definitely do both. For headshots, it's much better to be in the studio, because with your headshot, usually they're on the internet or even a business card, and they're like a little inch high. So you really want to focus in on someone's face, their expression. You really don't want to have any earrings or necklaces, because again, that just detracts from the person's expression. So headshots, I say, studio, I feel is best. And there's no wind, you know, sunlight to deal with. But for portraits, which is super fun too, yeah, no, outside is great. And the environment, yeah, I think you can probably see from behind me, I do quite a bit outside. And yeah, that's awfully fun too. But that's a different type of photography other than headshots.
Okay. When my sister Michelle was over here, and I see that she's with us. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining us live today. She was saying to me, you know, Heather, you should get one of those lights when you're doing your live TV shows that Diane has, you know, those silver things that just illuminate your face a little bit and add a little bit more brightness. And I know that when we were shooting, when you and I were doing my headshots, you were using all kinds of equipment and lighting. And I mean, I know that stuff comes at a great expense. And then you have people that think that they can take their smartphone and do a portrait and use that to represent themselves online, on their website, on their social media. And the difference is actually staggering.
Yes, I think, you know, the iPhones are coming such a long, long way. Like, they are phenomenal at times. I think you have to know a lot about lighting. You could be in front of a window with diffused light and have a really lovely soft light on you and take a good picture, but it won't be consistent all the time. For instance, for you, if you had a nice light in front of you or a nice soft window, it would shine a nice light on you. And if you don't have that, then yes, do get some other lights that will work. The thing with using lighting in my studio, I've tried them all the time, so I can go right to them and I know that it's a nice soft light. Yeah, and the other thing about taking your own photos, you really want to get rid of everything distracting in the background. Have a solid wall. So now it's a bit of a problem having a solid wall behind you and nice soft light coming in on the front of you. So that's probably a little difficult to find.
The other thing that was enjoyable when we were working together is you did my makeup. And
yes.
I totally cannot do makeup very well. And you went to school for it, and then you started teaching it. And even my daughter Tashi, when she worked with you, she was just blown away with your skills and the amount of wonderful, good makeup that you supply.
Oh, yeah, I had a ton of fun with Tashi. She was so cute. Yeah, makeup is another passion. It's just really fun. You don't overdo it. You really want someone to just look the best, their best. So you accentuate certain areas and that sort of thing. But yeah, and same thing with makeup. I did work at Holt Renfrew for a while at the Laura Mercier counter in Bobby Brown when I was going to school. And it was so fun when someone came in and you did their makeup and they couldn't stop staring at themselves in the mirror and they were, you know, just so excited. It's kind of fun.
I can tell you it's a riot. I really loved it. Now you take all these pictures. So now you've got, I don't know, 100 photos of your subject. And of course, they never see themselves looking so good. So they love all of them. And then we have to take it down and pick one. How do we do it?
Well, you did a really good thing where you ended up putting it on Facebook and having a bit of a contest. And I thought that was great because you had engagement from the people who are actually going to be seeing these photos. And then they picked one and they were really engaged. I thought it was wonderful and gave you great comments. There is a fun photo website, Photo Feeler, and you can upload your photo and it's what a web-based crowd, and they all vote on it. The only down thing I see about that is there's so many different people voting on it, probably people you won't be advertising to or coming in connection with. So maybe their comments aren't as relevant. For instance, I did upload mine and I had one person say, oh, it's way too polished. And someone else said, oh, well, it's not polished enough. So which one is part of my tribe? Which one am I trying to gear towards? Yes. So that's why I thought that yours was just so great because you were gearing it towards your group.
And then the other thing is you don't necessarily just have to take one. I know that I used a couple of them for our new website that Catherine and I built. And then I used a different one on LinkedIn. And because we have so many different social channels today, I just mixed them up because I really loved a lot of them because you did such a great job as well.
I think it's good to have maybe a more serious one as your main one, but we've got some real cute ones of you with different expressions, and I think they're great. They add a bit of lightness to the whole social media thing. So yeah, have a couple different photos, and whatever you think your audience could possibly be, you can use that one that day, or switch them up even. And it just kind of makes it a little fresh.
And if you were, if you had a friend, let's say, sitting down beside you, and they wanted to maybe just do a couple of little shots themselves with their smartphone, let's say, what kind of tips would you give them for taking pictures with their iPhones?
Well, I think when someone's in front of me, I'm really their mirror. I'm telling them, you know, how to smile, how to, you know, position themselves. But when you do take your own, well, I guess you can see yourself in your iPhone or whatever. But I would suggest practicing in front of the mirror, even for people that are coming to see a professional photographer. Practice some expressions in the mirror at home. Kind of get used to, you know, different facial expressions on demand. You know, we have facial expressions all the time, but we don't think, oh, I'm happy, I'm going to smile now, or that. But when you do have your photo done and you want a certain expression, you have to pull that up. So yeah, practice in front of the mirror and get some of these, looks that you like, or look at this side and you can see a shadow on your note. Oh, I don't like that, so we'll do the other side. So it seems a little vain, but if you want some good photos, that's pretty well what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I and Catherine and I say the same thing when we're teaching our classes when it comes to video. You have to practice. You have to see what works for you and what makes you feel comfortable or what you like. I was just thinking here when you were chatting about that, do you ever, when you're out like in a restaurant, do you ever see like children or someone sitting in a restaurant and you say to yourself, oh man, I'd love to photograph that person?
All the time. And I kind of find myself staring at them like, oh, stop staring at them, but I think, oh, that would look good in that little outfit, and oh, gee, oh, they're so cute. Yeah, and sometimes I actually, my husband and I were out for a drink a while ago, and the bartender was so fun, and he had such a great look that I did give him my card, and I said, hey, check out my website, and we could do just a really great photo shoot. So yeah, sometimes I even give my card out and say, come on over. It's just fun to have great photos, and everyone can use a good photo of themselves.
Most certainly. You, when my daughter Tashi, not for myself, but when Tashi came and some other kids that have shot with you, like you also do sports photography. You had a wardrobe that was amazing that Tashi used and dressed up in for her photographs. And these pictures were so wonderful that we wrapped one up and gave it to her dad for Christmas. And I wrapped one up for myself for Christmas as well. So you have a wardrobe that goes along with your makeup artistry as well.
I do. I kind of have a bit of a collection. And teens are so fun because they're so into the makeup and they're so into fashion, and they actually have practiced posing, most of them, because they kind of grew up on the iPhone photos and all that sort of stuff. So they're actually pretty out there. They're not timid at all, and they will try everything. So teens are just super fun to photograph and collaborate with.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah, I know Tashi loved it. And I know Carolyn Hill's daughter, Caitlin, worked with you, and Janelle, also Penny's daughter. And your photographs are wonderful. And when you go to your website, actually, Catherine couldn't put the photos in the chat box. It's not letting us add them, but we're going to put them on Keep It Simple Social Media's Facebook page. And of course, tag your business page, use your Instagram account and your website so people will be able to actually see the photographs that you and I are talking about today. And on that note, I'd like to ask you to talk a little bit about your Instagram account, because that is what you've really started to enjoy using. And what's your journey been with Instagram, Diane?
Well, my social media, you've helped me a bit with this, which has been wonderful. Thank you. And I read on numerous times that if you're going to do it, you have to do it all the time. And it is a very time-consuming thing if you pick quite a few different venues. For instance, if you did LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. The reason that I did choose Instagram is I work with a coaching group. It's with Peter Hurley, and he did Headshot Crew 365 and threw a challenge out there for everyone to put a photo up every day for 365 days for the year. And it actually really got me posting, and I was quite surprised at how quickly that you can gain a following. And it's been really quite fun. And so that's why I've kind of gone towards Instagram. But Instagram is really for photos. So it kind of works so well with photography. Your Instagram
account is really good, Diane. I liked it was the story you told me last week where you guys had this competition going where you each had to upload a picture to Instagram every single day. And after a little bit, I guess a couple of weeks, it became a little bit too much. And you got together as a group and you said, okay, now we're going to share doing this. And it became a little bit more fun for you guys. Are you still participating in that contest?
Oh, totally. It's not really a contest. It's more of a challenge. And it was thrown out there just to get everybody into the Instagram arena. And I think it's done a lot for everybody in our whole group. So, and it's fun to see all their photos too. So it has been very good.
Yeah, that's a great way to learn because you see what other people are doing and you can see what's working and then you can see what doesn't work by participating, getting involved. I see Carolyn Hill is here. And hi, Carolyn. Wonderful to have you. Excuse me. Carolyn says, any tips on how to relax in front of the camera, Diane?
Yeah, that's probably one of the toughest things we come across because people are very uncomfortable, you know, when they get in front of the camera. I usually have music playing, try and lighten the mood up, laugh a little bit, and kind of try and distract people now and then. And try and get them out of just having their photo taken. But usually after 5-10 minutes and show people their photos and they get to collaborate a bit and kind of know what's coming up, everyone usually relaxes quite a bit. And by the end, everyone's having quite a good time.
Yeah, and I can say it's true because I've been there, done that. And I'm really looking forward to next week when Catherine and I get an opportunity to get outside and do a photo shoot with you. Diane, it has been an absolute pleasure having you come in the studio with us today. And how can anyone that's watching or watching the replay get a hold of you?
Diane Hanna, photography. And it's the same for Facebook, Instagram, and my webpage. So it's a pretty easy one.
All right. Well, we're going to make sure that we add all of those links. In fact, Catherine's been busy doing that. Catherine, thank you for helping us out today. And Diane, I look forward to getting together with you next week. It has been a pleasure having you today, and please enjoy your week.
Well, thank you both for having me, and it's been fun. It wasn't as hard as I thought, but
I know once you get going, all the butterflies, they disappear. But it is a little bit intimidating, and I agree. You had said to me, you know, do you get nervous when you're going live? And I said every single time.
I was so surprised. I was like, no.
I'm human too.
Fun.
All right, you have a great day, Diane.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, and take care.
So we also have a guest coming next week, which is going to be Kara McMaster with Caveman Grocer. And this is quite a young entrepreneur. Her and her husband have a phenomenal business, also here in Whistler, but throughout British Columbia. And Kara is going to be joining us next Thursday at 10 a.m. and we will do a little bit of marketing on that. We will also be taking our show with Diane Hanna today, and we will be uploading that to YouTube, and we will be sending it out to all of the people that follow Keep It Simple social media. And don't forget, if you are in for a new headshot and you are looking for someone, I would highly recommend Diane Hanna Photography. She is an absolute pleasure to work with. This is it. And remember, everyone, let's keep it simple.